Welcome to the business special session. I'm very glad that you're here, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about me at the beginning, and then we'll move on to all the problems and the solutions for today. I have been coaching for over 3.5 years now. I absolutely love it. I started in construction, manufacturing, IT, and property, and I am growing my business through one-to-one sessions. I help business owners who are overwhelmed, overworked, to come up with strategies and plans to help them wrap their head around things, work more efficiently, and get things done. Right, so this is exactly how we're going to go through it today. We're going to go through problems, then solutions, then we're going to have a question and answer session, hopefully with some things that come up on the way and that we can help you solve today all together or based on the solutions that we're going to have in the slides today. Right, so once upon a time in the summer, there was a meeting of 6 professionals, business owners, who came to this meeting thinking about certain things they would like to improve their business. They would like to grow their business, but they didn't have specific things in mind. They didn't know what is it that they're going to do until somebody asked a wonderful question: what is your problem? And I'm editing here and cleaning it up. Right, so there was a question of what is your problem, and then one by one it took all of us a lot of stress to really dissect our businesses and to get to what really was it that we were not doing, what was it that was not working. And then before we moved on to solutions, we still were told by others, and it was repeated over and over. So what are you going to do about this problem? So this is the problem that you're having. How can you solve that? Until we actually got to the solutions. Now, the problems that we came across were, some of them were quite common in between the various businesses, various sizes, various types of business owners, and some of them were very unique. So we came across time management, this overwhelm, overwork. We came across procrastination a lot. We realized that there was some issues with discipline, and that the systems that we were using were not the most efficient ones, or not the right ones, or actually systems that were outdated, and they could have been so much better. So we also came across a problem of growth in general, so where we got stuck, where a certain business, for example, couldn't get through to people, or couldn't get more clients, or got pigeonholed into this particular area that they wanted to get out of so that they could grow their business further. And there was an issue with planning. So, for example, we had a business owner that was so very busy. He was working so very hard, but because he didn't have a schedule, it was interfering with his personal life and completely taking over, really pushing him towards burnout. So as you look at these issues, is there anything that you can think of that you know is a common business problem, or it might be your business problem, but it's not on the list? Please add it to the chat, and we'll basically go through it as we go through solutions. And we did actually have a lovely event and a meeting, and it was 3 days, and a lot came out of it. Right, so this is a summary. I'm going to go through these one by one. If you have any questions, please feel free, pop them in the chat anytime. In regards to scheduling, as we look at time management, as we look at overwhelm, whatever it is that you're using at the moment, whether you have a schedule or you don't, there is always something new that you could try. Now, I would definitely promote this to save yourself time and money and energy, to learn from someone else's experience if you can, because I've been through this and these businesses have been through this. So if you can adopt this new mindset, this let's see if it works for me, kind of mindset. You don't have to commit yourself to 3 months or 6 months of doing something. Try it for a couple of weeks. If it doesn't work for you, fair enough. If you don't like it, replace it with something else. Don't just do nothing. So whatever it is that you're doing at the moment, if it's not working, replace it with something else. See if you can actually try something new. If you believe that scheduling and time is your issue, see if you could actually try something new that is going through, 1 second, my apologies, that is going through your business process, that is going through your business reality at the moment, that could change if you started introducing some sort of scheduling into your day, into your week, into your month. Now we do a 30-day planning session. I'm sure you've heard that is a version of scheduling, right? So if you have something that you can focus on for the whole month, or if you have one particular goal that you can focus on every week, you're already starting to schedule. And if you already have a schedule, have a look at it and see if there's anything that you can change. Think about your energy during the day. When do you have the most energy? What are the most important things that you want to do? Have you all heard of the 80-20 rule? Okay, 80-20 means that 20% of your time gives you 80% of your results. 20% of your actions will give you 80% of your outcomes. So what you do during the day, 100% of everything, only 20% out of it is going to get you to where you want to go. If you think of it that way, what is your 20%? What gives you the biggest result? And schedule that. And if you don't want to put it in the calendar, fine, you don't have to. But at the back of your mind, can you keep that? What is the most important thing you need to do? And do it in a time of the day where you have the focus and the energy. For some people, it's 7 a.m., it's 5 a.m., it's 12 o'clock midday, or for me, it used to be 10 p.m. It's not 10 p.m. anymore, but it used to work really well. And I was very focused and I loved working in the quiet hours. So whatever it is for you, just focus on that time. Now, if you do like a calendar, like I do, absolutely love the whole color coding and reminders and everything. If you do like that, try and put as many things as you can in the calendar so you don't have to keep thinking about them. So you don't have to keep remembering. It's stressful. Our brains are amazing, but they're not perfect, and they will not allow us to remember everything. And there's no point of carrying everything with you. So what you do is you pop it in the diary. You have a doctor's appointment, or you have to book a call with someone next week. Pop it in next week. There's no reason for you to remember it for the next 7-8 days before you do it. You clear your mind a little bit and allow at least a little bit of space for ideas, for creativity, for new solutions, or for trying new things like this. Any questions on schedules? Lovely. Thank you. In regards to new processes, that could be anything. So that could be using a calendar, or using a different type of diary, or using a Calendly to schedule your appointments. Some of the processes that we went through are actually tied into the other solutions. So for example, we came up with a process where we could interview each other so that we could actually record ourselves answering questions about our businesses, because not everyone can sit down and talk about their business for 10, 15, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, and do a whole presentation. Some people actually need to sit down with someone else, and while they're answering questions, it's making it so much easier for them to talk about their business. But that is just an example of a process that we introduced that would make it so much easier for all 6 of us to have these videos on our businesses without having the stress of it. That is a new process. coming up with ideas and putting them into your marketing strategy, so into your posts, into your branded photos, your colors and everything, that's a whole other process, but it can all be done in Canva. Right, so you can see at the bottom of the list, there's new skills. Learning a platform like Canva, at least the basics of it, allows you to do so many things that you think of on the spot. If you have someone that does those for you, if you have a marketing company or a branding company, you can tell them what you want, but it's going to be so much quicker for you to put it in an image and then send it to them and tell them, well, this is what I'm thinking. And some companies that do branding and web design and advertising, they can't always understand what is it that we want. If we could put it as an image and if we could actually send it to them, it would explain so much better, because we have these basic skills and we came up with this process of actually showing them exactly what we wanted. What else did we have? We had... right, okay, we had cold calling as a new process. So we had scheduling and new process both in one. For a business that doesn't do any outreach, for a business that does a little bit of networking, but not really much of anything else, but the business owner wants to grow the business, going for cold calling was actually something that they were open to and an idea that they found quite good, and they were optimistic about it and eager. And then questions came up, okay, but how do I do it? How often do I do that? And then the process ended up scheduling 10 calls every day as a new strategy for that business to grow. So it depends whether you are open to cold calls, whether you're open to mailing campaigns, if you're open to going door to door, or the 10 other ways that you can actually do outreach to people. However you do it, is it going to make it easier for you to pop it as a reminder in your calendar or as a 1 day per week, dedicated day? That's what I'm doing this day. Not to feel overwhelmed and not to feel like you're neglecting something. There is a matrix that very often coaches discuss with clients that I would like to tell you about. And it's divided into a square, and 4 pieces of the square have urgent and important, important, not urgent, not urgent, important, urgent, not important, and not important, not urgent. Now, there is only one of those squares that covers business development, and that's important, not urgent. And that's the square that has business development, that has future planning, strategies, things that are within your strategies that are not urgent and not important right now, but they are still important for your long-term business. Those are the ones that usually get pushed to the side whenever we get busy. If we get overwhelmed, if we get overworked, those are the ones we forget about. Getting, like for example, getting a mentor. Getting a mentor is not urgent. It's important, but it's not urgent. So it gets pushed to the side and we forget about it. We focus on something else. If we could balance out all of the squares, and we could do that easily with, for example, taking a couple hours every week, half a day, 1 day, depends how much time you can actually spare, put it in your calendar, put it in your diary, and if you have it there in front of your face 4 times a month, at least twice or 3 times, it's actually going to happen. If it's not there, the probability of it happening is much less. So if you could increase your chances of getting it done, why wouldn't you? That would be my question. If I tell you that coaches' favorite things are goals, and if I tell you that writing down your goals increases your chances of getting everything you wrote on your goals list by 62%, would you still not write it down? If it makes such a big difference, because it suddenly gives homework to your subconscious mind, and it gives it something to do while you're watching TV, sleeping, relaxing, exercising, would you not write down what you want? And then it becomes so much closer to reality, not just a wish list in our heads. So yeah, we're going to move on to accountability, but any questions on the tools and the solutions that we discussed so far? I know it's a lot, we're covering a lot. If you can just make small notes of anything that you think is useful, that would be amazing. Right, accountability. There are various ways that you can stay on track, stay disciplined, beat your procrastination, and make sure that you're staying on time and along the lines with your strategies and plans. And one of the ways is accountability. Now, you can do it in a professional group, you can do it in an accountability pod, or you can do it as simple as messaging with one of your fellow business owners, a friend, a family member that is going to check you on it. Ideally, someone that has business experience. A person that has never worked for themselves will not necessarily be able to do that unless they are really good at discipline, really good at staying on track. Then yes, that is the right person for you to ask to help you with this. And you send, for example, 1 text per week or 1 text per day with your targets for that week. What is it that you've done? Have you done your last week? And what is it that you're going to do in the next week? It is, for most people and for most business owners, it is very helpful. It helps you stay on track. If you want to, yes, exactly. If you want to ask for your family member, ask your family member, your children, ask them to check you once a week on what you've done, right? Sometimes we do that to kids. Kids can definitely do that to us. Okay. In regards to offering, there are, as you know, there are a lot of things that changed with the pandemic, a lot of businesses that flourished and a lot of businesses that rebranded and a lot of businesses that didn't make it. There was a whole bunch of ideas flowing. There was so much creativity during the pandemic because there was no other choice, because businesses had to survive. Now, if you had to face that situation again, what could you do to your offering today that would make your business more resilient? Is there anything that you can change in what you do and in how you do it that would increase your chances or your customer base? In regards to a lot of client shortage issues, or being stuck in the wrong client base, or not being able to service or find the right clients. In regards to that, most of the time the solution is in the offering. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your price point. It's not necessarily your pricing. A lot of the time it is your reach. It's basically your marketing, your branding, the way that you communicate what you do. And a lot of marketers talk about your ideal customer. Do you know your ideal customer? Do you want to speak to someone that sees your business on a regular basis just to get a little bit of feedback and just to get some tips? David's not here, and David had this brilliant little thing on networking. He explained that when you're networking, if you can say something unique about your business, it makes you memorable, it makes you stand out. So what is, according to you, what is unique about your offering? For me, I was really surprised when people commented on the fact that coaching is with no judgment. It's a no judgment process. And that sounded really good to other people, where I didn't realize sometimes it is a good idea just to get feedback on your business. Or for example, if someone knows you really well and they know exactly what you do, can you ask them to explain it? See what words they use, because it's a completely different person. It's a different perspective. It might help you come up with something new. where you can approach your business differently, and then you can come back to the scheduling and the new process and add what you feel comfortable doing: cold calling, mailing, campaigns, leaflets, whatever it is that is going to work for you and your business. Go and do that, right? It sometimes is that simple, that we have to get up and go and do that, and we can schedule it, and we can get the tools for it, and we can get the wording for the offering, but we actually have to go out and do it. It doesn't have to be done all at once. It can be done in small steps, one by one, with no stress. You can turn it into a process, but we'll get onto that. Right, okay, so another element is a replacement, which I sort of touched on already. So if something that you're doing right now is not working, can you start doing something else? Can you replace it with something else? It doesn't always have to be a new hire, a new person, a new business partner, but it can be. If it needs to be that, it could be a new supplier. And if you have a couple of suppliers, that's fantastic. I know some of you do have a couple of different places that you can go to in case something happens, but not everyone does. If you can get the backup contractors, backup companies that you work with, services, products that you need to actually do your business, make sure that you do have just in case replacements, or you replace what's not working at the moment. Sometimes that is the reason why you would feel overwhelmed or feel put off by having to deal with the same problems over and over and over, and having the same conversations. I'm sure that you've come across a situation where you think, oh no, I have to call them again. And it doesn't have to be like that. You actually have so many choices. We are very fortunate. We live in a country with a lot of competition in so many different industries, that if you're not happy with something, you can actually change, find a better way. And it's not just about you, it's about your business as well. Right, any questions on that part? Okay, then we have the last element is new skills. So if you want to improve your process, but you're not sure why, that you could actually implement as a skill. If I tell you that for 30 minutes a week, you can learn a new skill every 3 to 6 months. You could pick a new skill. You could learn it not to be a lecturer at a university, but to master it for your own use. What is the first thing that comes to your mind that you would like to learn in the next 3 months? Something that would be useful to you, something that would be useful to your business. If you can think of something now, can you think of something that would be the second skill? So after you're done learning that, what would you learn next? Something that is useful to you. Now, I asked my clients, people that I work with, that they put a reminder in their calendar once every 3 months to pick a new skill. It's something that allows you not to have to worry about your learning, your development. It's something that promotes within you wanting to learn something useful, wanting to learn a new system, wanting to learn a new way of doing something. Like we mentioned Canva before, it could be a language if you wanted to, that is going to train your brain all the time, which is nice. Maybe you need that kind of a break and that kind of development. It could be a mailing system. It could be a platform that you're using for something. It could be a listening, for example, listening skills, or it could be speaking skills. If you want to become a speaker because you're very good at something that you do, and you want to speak to people, or you want to motivate people, or you want to speak to students and teach them all about the industry and why they should get into this industry, you want to change lives by public speaking, that's a skill. You can learn that, and you can learn that within a couple of months and actually start doing something that you wanted to do for a while. So that is one of many ways how you can actually address these issues that we have looked at the beginning. So for example, if discipline is the issue, then your skills could be around discipline. Mine are, I have a wonderful mentor, and he actually does stretching exercises for 1 hour every morning. The man gets up at 5:30 in the morning and he stretches for 1 hour and he's ready for the day. I can't do that. So I'm doing 15 minutes, but it's the discipline. It's the discipline that you can introduce. And it took me my 3 months of skills to learn what I wanted to do, to learn Pilates, to learn certain exercises, a little bit of yoga, combine that, right? That's for my personal life. For my business life, I had to learn certain systems, and I'm still learning. Coaches should always be learning. That is sort of expected of us, and every coach should have a coach, and we should do what we preach. So that's why a couple of examples. In regards to business, I do have a new system that I need to learn. Every 2-3 months, I have that reminder in my diary. I have my calendar, I have my colors, and I have all of that. It doesn't always work. We're humans, and things fail. So I have reminders in my diary to do things once a week, every week, and it doesn't happen every week, but it happens more often than if it wasn't in the calendar. So in regards to the problems and in regards to solutions, what I would say is remember to do one thing at a time, right? So we love to multitask. This is not about multitasking. This is about overwhelm. This is about you thinking that if you have to do such a big job, and if you're thinking about this entire year, I only have 2 months left, and I have to do so many things that I said I'm going to do this year. It's okay to think that, and it's okay to plan it, and it's okay to put it on the list. Please write it as a list of goals. But if you approach this as one thing at a time, or if you break it down into small steps, it actually seems achievable. And it's reasonable, and it's not overwhelming. And sometimes it is that simple, just to break it down. If you don't feel like doing something, you can go and do something else. Like a backup task or a list of things that you enjoy doing, or things that are not as overwhelming, still necessary, still in that important, not urgent box, but they don't feel as overwhelming as the main thing that you need to do. So once you start using these particular solutions, please don't stress yourself in regards to, I need to see the results within 1 week or within 2 weeks. If you can start and implement them into your 30-day plan, into your 90-day plan, what would your business look like? What would change in your life, in your daily life, and in your business once you have these tools and techniques in place? You don't have to do them all at once. You can do them one at a time. If you're not using a calendar, try a calendar for 2-3 weeks, for a month, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, that's it, replace it with something else. But it is all about how many things you can add to make your life easier, to make running a business easier, to make all of this a process that you enjoy, to remember that you actually, there was a reason why you became a business owner. Whether you had to or you chose to, that reason was valid, and you decided, that's it, I'm running a business. Now, if you want to make sure that business succeeds, whatever you're doing that works, keep doing that. So the things that work, make sure that you keep doing the things that work. Otherwise, if there aren't that many things that work, then it's time to try new ones. Because if you stay in that business, you become overwhelmed, overworked, absolutely, completely sick of it, then you won't be happy. It's that simple. These businesses that we have, they could actually make us happy, and they could keep us happy. It just depends how we run them, and there's no one way over the other. There's no person that is going to tell you, that's how you're supposed to run your business. Fair enough, that's how they run their business. And there's so much advice that is not necessarily good for your business, for the size of your business. So please do have a look at various tools and see what works for you, but keep trying. Don't give up at any stage. Yes. And whenever you need to, I'm here. Please have a chat with me whenever you like. Get a mentor, get a friend that runs a business, speak to people and keep talking to people. It's a good thing to have a sounding board, to have someone that is not necessarily going to give you their perspective. Sometimes they'll just listen to you. I keep hearing from clients, oh, just saying this out loud is really helping. And it's sometimes it is as simple as that you actually just need to talk it out. You have my details below and my email address is there. Is there anything that you can think of as a business problem that we haven't mentioned today that we could actually talk about? I would love your input. We're all business owners here, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I would love to hear your thoughts on what are the problems that you're coming across.